Today I'm reviewing the new movie called Cry Macho, which stars Clint Eastwood. This is his newest film. And this film, I actually saw it a week ago, but I just haven't had time to do the review yet, and I thought now would be a good time to get that review up. This movie is not just starring Clint Eastwood, but he also wrote and directed the film at the same time. And I had a chance to watch this. I actually got on HBO Max last week to watch *Malignant*. I'm not a horror fan, but I am going to watch that movie, and I'm probably going to do a review on that one too. I saw a lot of buzz about it, but I'm not a horror fan. So if you come to my channel and you're expecting me to review horror films, you're kind of in the wrong place. I'm not going to be reviewing a ton of horror films. The only horror films I've ever really enjoyed were the Nightmare on Elm Street films, and they're not making any of those. So I don't think I will be reviewing too many horror movies. But *Malignant* will be coming down the line. But I did see that Cry Macho came out, and I didn't even know this was actually getting released. I love Clint Eastwood, and I was eager to check the film out, so I watched it last Friday. And I came away somewhat disappointed. I want you to know this is not a terrible film. I did enjoy it. I watched the whole thing, but it's not the most engaging movie he has ever done. It's very well written. It is very well acted, but the story and what happens on screen, this was more like a Hallmark film. It's not something that I think needed to be released theatrically, and definitely is not up to par with some of his other films. Does that make it a terrible film? No, but I would tell you in the end, I gave this 3 out of 5 stars. It's a wonderful story about him. He's older. It takes place in 1979. That's where the beginning of the movie starts. And he basically gets fired from this ranching job that he had, and then it fast forwards a year later, where the guy that he worked for who fired him actually hires him to go get his son. He actually had an affair with this woman in Mexico, had a son, and sends Clint Eastwood to go bring his son back to America. And you find out the motivations behind that later in the film. I'm not going to get into that here today. But let's just say it's about a film of these two individuals, Clint Eastwood and also this young boy, finding themselves and figuring out where their place is in the world when things are changing in both of their lives. Is it terrible? No. It's enjoyable, but it's not all that engaging. It's rather boring, to put it frankly. There are much better Clint Eastwood films that you could see that have come out recently. Now, I don't think I saw the one he did prior to this, or maybe I did. He did one recently that I really enjoyed. I forget the name of it off the top of my head, where he actually goes to Mexico. And The Mule. It was called The Mule. That movie's a lot better than this. It's more engaging and definitely more entertaining. This movie, if you've got time to kill and you just want to sit back and watch a movie that's enjoyable and rather charming, that's what I would call this film, is charming. But when you think of Clint Eastwood, that's not what you're thinking of. And so this movie, I would not recommend it unless you have time to kill and you're looking for a charming film. If you're looking for something that's full of action, that isn't it. If you're looking for something for Clint Eastwood to be the guy in your face type of guy, this isn't it. There are some entertaining scenes here and there, but for the most part, it's a laid back story about these two guys, one's a man, one's a boy, figuring out where their life, where they fit in this world. And it is charming, but it's not something I would have chosen to watch had I known what it was. So there's my review on Cry Macho. If you've seen it, let me know what you thought. I will have *Malignant* up hopefully here in the next week or so. I'm really curious to see this movie. I'm staying away from spoilers. I want to go in and see what this movie's all about, and I'll be able to give a judgment. I've heard some people say they loved it. Some people said they hated it. But that will probably be my next movie review. So that should be up shortly, but I do appreciate it. If you haven't already, please hit the like button, subscribe, the notification bell. You will be notified as I have new reviews go up. See you guys on the next movie review.